Good luck.
Hello, my name is Richard Shear. I'm the Executive Director for Enrollment Management here at Southwest Minnesota State University. On behalf of our team, Dr. Mei Lee, Muavo, and Charlotte Wally, I want to welcome you here to our webinar. We're thrilled that you're joining us today, and we feel like we have an informative presentation for you. But before I turn it over to Charlotte, in the PowerPoint, I want to tell you why I think Southwest is a special place. I was here for 15 years, left, came back, so I think I have kind of a good perspective. Southwest is a special place. It's a special place that cares for its students. You know, it's not uncommon that faculty, staff, and other students, you know, they're going to know you by name very quickly in the process of you being a student here. When they see you at events, at the grocery store, in the hallways, they're going to know you. And I think that's what helps to embrace that sense of community. It's a special place where you can excel. With the support of the faculty who know you, you're able to get the most out of your academic programs. With clubs and organizations, you can find yourself with plenty to get involved with, which will help you to meet your U.S. counterparts as well as other international students. It's a place that supports. We have great services. You know, students cannot say, I didn't know, because we are constantly barraging you with, here's how you can get help. Here's what you need to do. Whether it's planning for graduation, whether it's finding a job after graduation, we have those resources for you. So I'm pretty comfortable, I know it sounds cliche, but I'm pretty comfortable in saying we are a university that actually cares about its students. So with that, I've introduced the team. I'm going to turn it over to Charlotte for the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, thanks so much, Rich. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to start us off with a quick video, just to give you more of an idea of SMSU. Okay, and just as a quick note, we have placed the links for these videos in the chat. So if you are unable, if it's lagging, if the video is not playing well for you, please know that you can go back and watch those video links on your own time. You might be wondering, so where is Southwest Minnesota State University in the US? You can see on this map here, we're tucked in what we call the Midwest, and we're in the northern part of the country. So what does that look like? If we zoom in a little bit, Southwest Minnesota State University, as you might guess, is in the southwest corner of Minnesota. So we're tucked in the corner, we're bordering South Dakota and also Iowa. You can see here some of the big cities near us. We're about 3 hours from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, so that's where the capital of Minnesota is. But we're about an hour and a half from Sioux Falls, South Dakota as well. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about Minnesota. So obviously, Minnesota is home to SMSU, but we're also home to the Minnesota Vikings football team. Minnesota is very popular in the Midwest. So if you come to SMSU, you will learn a good bit about American football. The Mall of America is one of the largest malls in the United States. That is located in the Twin Cities. You can go there and shop. They have a movie theater, they have an aquarium, they have an indoor theme park. It's quite the sight to see. It's also home to a lot of really large businesses. Target, which you might know, 3M, which sells all sorts of different office supplies and adhesives, the Mayo Clinic, which is a really well-known hospital, lots and lots of business. So we are very close to the Twin Cities, and that's a resource that our students can really pull on. And then we're also the land of 10,000 lakes. That's what Minnesota is called. So forests and lakes, lots to do outdoors. Where we are in the southwest corner has a lot of prairie, so a lot of rolling grassland, as well as a lot of agriculture. So a lot of the students in this area who come from this area grow up on farms, and we are really a big supporter for things like corn and soybeans. So with that, I'm going to show you one more video just so you can see a visual of what our campus looks like. Okay, so now you've hopefully had a chance to see a little bit of what SMSU actually looks like. We're a small public state university. So we were built in just about 54 years ago. So we're a very young university as universities go in the United States. And we're a part of the Minnesota State University system. So that means that we share resources and we share sort of different systems with 6 other four-year universities and 33 community colleges in the Minnesota state system. Our student body has about 2,400 on-campus students. So we're a very small university, and we have about 22,000 alumni in our Mustang family. And if you come to SMSU or you continue to look at SMSU, you'll hear a lot about the Mustang family. That's really something that is a hallmark of SMSU's educational experience, is this close-knit family experience. That's part of being a university that is this small, is you really will get to know your faculty and your staff and your other students on campus really well, and really hopefully feel like you're a part of that family that's supporting you and looking after you during your time at SMSU. Another thing of note is these interconnected campus. So as you watch that video, that's what our campus looks like today. As we go from summer into fall, very green, green grass, green trees. Do you know Minnesota is known for its snow? In the northern Midwest, it gets quite cold here in the winters. Don't let that scare you off though. Because our campus is interconnected, all of our academic buildings are connected with tunnels, hallways, or what we call links, like kind of glassed hallways. So once you're in the academic part of our campus, you actually don't have to go outdoors. You can have breakfast, go to class, study in the library, do a workout in our gym, have another class, and never actually leave the buildings. So when you're in a place as cold as Minnesota can get in the winter, that is a really nice advantage to have. Just some things to kind of sell about our school a little bit. We are voted the safest university in the state of Minnesota. Very safe on campus, but some of that probably also comes from the fact that we're in a town of about 15,000. Marshall has about 15,000 people. That does double during the workday, as we have some large companies headquartered here. And we're kind of tucked in a corner of the city. There are no throughways, so there's no cars coming through. If there's no reason to be driving through SMSU unless you're a student or a staff member that's there at the university. We're also ranked 7th in the US for affordability. So we are a very affordable university, and that's something that we'll touch on later. And we have students coming from over 30 countries. So despite the fact that we're in sort of rural Central America, our campus is more diverse than people might expect. And you will have that opportunity to interact with students from all over the US and all over the world. As far as opportunities for what to study, SMSU has over 50 bachelor's degrees, 55 undergraduate degrees, 12 pre-professional programs, so programs that will help prepare you for your next step of schooling, whether that's pre-med, pre-law, anything like that. We have programs to help prepare you for those tracks. We have 5 associate's degrees, so those are 2-year programs. And then we have 5 graduate degrees. So we do actually have 5 master's programs. And these are our top majors. So these are some of the most popular or the strongest programs on campus. You can see we have quite a few STEM programs. Business, culinology is kind of a cool one. There are only 2 schools in the United States that have a 4-year degree for culinary studies. So instead of just being culinary arts, ours is really culinary sciences, culinology. And so we've actually trademarked that term. But one of the hallmarks of all of the programs at SMSU, all the programs you see here, is that we really have a focus on hands-on learning. We want our students to take what they're learning in the classroom and have the opportunity to apply it outside of the classroom for themselves, whether that's self-guided independent research projects, or that's networking or job shadowing in their field, or internships. That's really a critical part of the educational experience here at SMSU, is that opportunity to have the hands-on learning and take what you're hearing about in the classroom and see it for yourself. Make sure that it's something you do want to do, that you understand how you'll actually go take what you're learning and apply it into a career after college. So talking about that opportunity, that Mustang family and that hands-on learning, here's some of the ways that that's applied. So our average class size is 15 students. So you can see right away, our classrooms are small. And actually, a cooler statistic, I think, is that 80% of our classes have 30 students or less. So even in an introductory level class, even in a freshman 100 level class, you're not going to have 200, 300, 400 students. In fact, it would be rare for you to have 100 students in a class. Our large lectures are more like 70 to 80 students. And as you get farther into your program, those class sizes are going to get smaller. The student to faculty ratio is 15:1. So again, you know, the number of faculty available on campus in any program is very high. It's easy to get in contact with professors if you need help or you have a question outside of class time. You also will be paired with a faculty member, a faculty advisor in your major from the beginning of your time at SMSU. So you're going to have guidance from an expert in that field, who will be working closely with you to make sure that you're on track in your program, on track towards graduation. And when you have questions, you have someone to turn to who really knows the subject matter. All of our classes are taught by faculty. We don't have graduate assistants teaching any of the classes. So you're taking all of your classes from experts in their field. And nearly all of our faculty have terminal degrees. So whether that's a master's degree like an MFA, or a terminal degree like a PhD. So you're really being taught by experts. But there's also a lot of other resources in addition to our faculty. So we offer tutoring in things like math and science. We have a speech center and a writing center. So in any of those areas, if you're struggling a little bit or you just want to be doing better than you are, you can turn to those resources on campus. All of them are free. All of them are led by upperclassmen in those programs who have done well and who know how to be successful working with our professors, and they can help give you the support or the tips and tricks you need to be successful. Okay, talking about cost. This is always the question, right? I'm not reading the questions right now, but I would bet money that somebody has asked about cost. I said SMSU is ranked 7th in the nation for affordability. You can see here our total cost is $20,000. So tuition and fees, that's paying for classes and just general fees on campus. Then we have room and board. We do require our international students to pay for health insurance through the college. And then we estimate books and supplies. So when you add that all up, $20,000 for a 4-year degree is $20,000 a year for a 4-year undergraduate degree is really good. It's really quite competitive. And the great thing is this is the same price for all of our students, in-state, out-of-state, domestic or international student, they're all being charged this price. Another kind of unique thing we offer is banded tuition. So you're considered a full-time student at 12 credits, which is about 4 classes, but you can take all the way up to 18 credits for the same price. So whether you want to take 18 credits to try and graduate a little bit early, or you decide later on that you want to take some extra classes that are interesting, or you want to try and add on a minor, or maybe you're like me and math is just not your strong suit and you have to retake a class once or twice during your college career, you can do all of that and it's not going to cost you extra when you go over those 12 credits. So that's allows our students some nice flexibility. And then there are scholarship opportunities for current students. So we don't offer scholarships as you're coming in to SMSU as an international student applying, but once you're here as a current student, if you're doing really well in a program, you will have the opportunity to apply for some scholarships specifically in your major, or if you're demonstrating really great leadership roles, things like that. You can apply for some scholarships while you're here to kind of continue to bring your costs down. Another big thing that we really promote on our campus is involvement. We want our students to get involved on campus, both because that's a really great way to build your community, build your support system, find people that share similar interests or similar experiences with you, but also so that you can develop your resume and really take full advantage of your college experience. Because we know that a lot of what you learn in college happens outside of the classroom as well, happens as you're interacting with your student body and you're having those opportunities for leadership. So we have over 100 clubs and organizations on campus, and those vary, depending upon, they can be shared interests, shared academic interests. It might be cultural or religious interests that you share with students. One of the largest of those student groups that we have is our International Student Organization. So the ISO on campus hosts a variety of events throughout the year, my favorite of which is our International Food Festival. And so our international students in the ISO come together to put on this food festival, and there's food from all over the world. And it's a really great way for our community to come together, share a meal, learn about different cultures and their food, and it's a lot of fun. But there are other organizations as well, and you can find those on our website. We do promote residence life activities, so on-campus activities for our students living in the dorms. There are, events hosted on weekends, musicians, comedians, all sorts of just fun ways to blow off steam. We do have an on-campus arcade, so you can play arcade games, ping pong, foosball, all sorts of good things like that. And we do also promote ways to get involved that help the university as well, things like our SMSU ambassadors. So if you want to then be an ambassador and represent the school to future prospective students, you have that opportunity as well. So lots of ways to build your community and just round out your college experience. Speaking of living on campus, we did just want to give you a quick snapshot of what our dorms look like. As an upperclassman, you can choose to live off campus, but as a freshman, you will be required to live on campus. These pictures here are of our traditional halls. So these are the original dorms to campus. You can see they're kind of standard double rooms. So you and a roommate share a room. It's about 12 feet by 12 feet. You can have your beds lofted or not, that's up to you. And they come semi-furnished. So not all of the furniture shown in this room would come, but there is some, so you don't have to buy all your own furniture. This is another dorm on campus. This is called Sweetland Hall, and Sweetland Hall has suite style living. So two roommates would share a bathroom with 2 other people. So you're sharing it only with 4 people instead of having a bathroom down the hall. But again, it's double rooms, and you can have your beds lofted or not depending on your preference. And you can see these are what the bathrooms look like in Sweetland, where they have the suites. So there's a door out to the hallway here, and then there's the door to the bathroom on the side, and there's one on either side for each room. But your sink and your mirror are inside the room itself, so if you just want to wash your face, brush your teeth, you don't need to go into the bathroom to do that. So campus events, I was talking about this a little bit before, but I just wanted to talk again about, sometimes we get a concern from students, while you're in, a small city, so what is there to do on evenings or weekends? Don't worry. We make every effort to keep life on campus very exciting and make sure that there's lots to do for our students so they aren't always trying to drive off campus or to another city to find fun things to do. I'm not going to read through all of these, but some of our favorites, you know, me personally, casino night is very popular. So our students and staff come and it's like casino style gambling, if you will, card games. There's food, there's music, people dress up, there's prizes to win. That's a lot of fun. Mud volleyball, you can see in this bottom, the third picture on the screen. Mud volleyball happens during our freshman orientation. So when new students come to campus, they move in 4 days before classes start, and they have a long weekend where the whole goal is to just adjust to campus and start to make friends, feel familiar and comfortable there. So there's all sorts of fun events, including mud volleyball, where you compete in teams of 6, and it's tournament style, and they're playing in like 6 inches of mud. So you can see these students are covered head to toe in mud. They have to be hosed down by the fire department before they go back to their dorm rooms so they don't track any mud in. But it's a lot of fun. And even if you're somebody who doesn't want to get covered in mud, it is still a lot of fun to watch as well. There are also things like Hawaiian night. So the picture above that, those are our students getting ready for Hawaiian night. That's a basketball game that we host in the winter. So just when it's sort of at its peak coldest here at SMSU, and we're dreaming of warmer days and beaches and sunshine, we have Hawaiian night, which is a big sort of community. Everyone comes to campus and we celebrate a big basketball game, and there's food and there's other activities going on campus to kind of get us through the coldest days. So you can see a lot to do on campus. We do also have athletics. So we have 19 varsity teams here. We're Division II, which means that our athletics is quite competitive. Our teams are quite good, and we can also offer athletic scholarships. So we're maybe not quite at the level of a Division I team that you might be familiar with, but we do still have the opportunity to offer some athletic scholarships, which Division III schools cannot. We're a part of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. And if you have questions about being a recruited athlete, there is an athletic recruitment questionnaire that you can fill out on our athletic website. So I would encourage students that are interested in that to look there. You can see we have a variety of different teams, including new this year, we have eSports, which is our varsity gaming team. So if you're somebody that likes playing video games online, definitely think about checking that out. They are considered part of our athletic program, so they also have scholarship opportunities. They also get Adidas gear, and they have a state-of-the-art gaming room on campus, which is pretty cool. So the last thing I want to talk about today is just SMSU's commitment to our students to help you be successful, to help you stay on track to graduate, and then to get that next step, whatever that next step is for you, whether it's a secondary degree or it's a job in the workforce. We really believe that it's not just about helping our students get a piece of paper, but it's about helping them feel confident and ready to take that next step and then be successful in taking whatever that next step is. So on campus, like I mentioned before, there are lots of resources to help our students be successful in the classroom and make sure they're really learning the material. We also have a really fantastic career services office who is dedicated to helping our students all during their 4 years prepare for a career, whether that's using our professional interview dress closet. So if you need to borrow a blazer or a suit or something for an interview that you might have, you can borrow it from that closet and return it after your interview. If you need to do a mock interview so that you know if you're prepared for hard questions or you know best how to sell yourself, you can do that. And then they help with all sorts of different career and job fairs throughout the year. Like I said, internships, summer jobs. On campus, we're really committed to helping our students maximize their summers, take advantage of that time to help further their steps towards a career. And then specifically for our international students, we are able to help our students work legally here in the US through CPT and OPT initiatives. And then finally, I'm going to turn things over by just starting to introduce our Center for International Education. So specifically for you all, our international students, this is going to be your home away from home. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mei Lee, who is the director of the CIE.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, and we're so happy to see all of you joining us today. As Charlotte mentioned, my name is Dr. Mei Lee Muavu, and I'm the director for the Center for International Education. The CIE, we love using acronyms in the US, so the CIE is going to be your home away from home. We help you all the way from the onset of your application. You'll be working with either myself or Mr. Michael Karowski and Ms. Jamie Leonard, who are also with us here today in the chat room and answering your questions. And so we will be helping you from the onset of your application all the way to your arrival to campus and to orientation and throughout your years of studying at SMSU. So a lot of the students have grown to appreciate the CIE as their home away from home, because you can always come into our office and chat with one of us, ask questions, study, and we usually would have coffee and tea around. Because it's the pandemic, we haven't had a lot of events, but we do provide lots of ways that you can adjust to SMSU, where you can have the opportunity to practice and learn the language and learn about the US cultures. We do provide lots of different events that you can participate in. So we have weekly international coffee hours where you'll be able to connect with other international students, other domestic students, and staff and faculty at SMSU. There are lots of events that we work with the International Student Organization Club. And so we help co-sponsor lots of the different events throughout the year featuring international students, because we really want international students to feel welcome and feel that they belong here at SMSU. And so we're very happy that you've joined us today. There are lots of things that you'll find when you come to SMSU in terms of helping you adjust and making you feel that you're at home. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Charlotte.
Okay, I'm actually going to sort of tag team here with Mei Lee on this one. We did just want to take a moment to talk about our admission process. So please, whether it's today or when the recording comes out later, please follow this link to learn more about the international application process. But you can go on here and apply. And if you use the promo code down below, GO SMSU, that will waive the normal $20 application fee. So it will be free to apply. So I would highly encourage you to do that. Even if you're not set on coming to SMSU, go ahead and apply so that you can see if you're admissible. And so we can start kind of putting the wheels in motion and make sure that we've got everything in line so that you could actually come, say in the spring or in the fall. In addition to the application itself, we will need a high school transcript evaluation. So what that means is that we need something to show us the sort of equivalency to what a US transcript might be like, particularly if your high school transcript is not in English. We're going to need that so that we can see what it is that you took. And then we also need an English language proficiency. So there are a variety of different ways that you can show that proficiency to us. But for example, you can see here if you do the TOEFL or the IELTS, these are the scores that we're looking for as far as showing proof of language proficiency. Mei Lee, is there anything you want to add at this slide?
No, I think you got it. Typically, usually when international students apply, everybody, just like domestic students, you would go online and you would create an admission profile for yourself, and you would be able to input all your information, your address, where you're from, and you'll create a admission profile for yourself online. And then you'll be able to upload documents up to that online account. And when we know that you're from Turkey and you're applying to be an international student, then typically one of the CIE staff will be aware of your application and will be able to assist you throughout the application process.
Okay. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions. I see that Michael and Jamie are answering a lot of our questions here in the question section. If you do have a question, please feel free to put it in there. as I've kind of been scanning through it, and I saw there were some questions that maybe I can answer out loud so that everybody can kind of hear the answer in case you haven't had a chance to scroll through those questions. Somebody asked, what makes Minnesota different from other states in the US? That's a really good question. I think, you know, the US is so large that maybe not all of our states are totally distinctive unless you come from there. You know, Minnesotans will definitely have a lot of state pride, feel very loyal about their state. But, you know, I think if you were looking at, say, the East or the West Coast, I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, which is on the West Coast. We are a coastal state, so we have beaches. We also have mountains where I'm from. And Minnesota is a lot of forests, like I mentioned, a lot of lakes. They do also get all 4 seasons, so you'll get to experience fall, winter, spring, and summer. Although we joke here that summer is basically road construction. So after a hard winter, we have to go and fix all of our roads that were messed up by the snow. But, you know, I think part of the sort of the fun thing about coming and studying in the US is that you'll also hopefully have the chance to travel a little bit and see some of our surrounding states and what makes each state a little bit different. There was also quite a few questions about athletics. One thing to be aware of as far as athletics go, each team kind of has different expectations as far as eligibility or scholarship opportunities. Those can vary fairly widely. But somebody asked about women's sports. We do have quite a lot. We have women's softball, we have women's soccer, we have swimming and diving, cross country and track, soccer, so quite a lot there. And another thing to note, somebody asked about doing sports in conjunction with an academic program. Yes, you can absolutely do that. You actually can't major in a sport. So, you know, if you wanted to do esports, that would be something you did in addition to a major, whether something that tied in, like, say, computer science, or something totally unrelated. You can do both, absolutely.
I just wanted to point out that someone in the questions area asked about our application deadlines and start date, and I wanted to say that our application deadlines is pretty generous. For fall semester, for example, for next year, if you want to apply, our deadline isn't until June 30th, which is very close to the start of the semester. And so in terms of spring, so if you're interested in applying for spring 2021, our application deadline will be November 30th. And so in terms of the deadlines, we work with students and we're pretty generous with the deadlines. And so we'll want to make sure that you can get everything in before the deadlines, and so we can get you admitted.
There was a question about the, you know, is your Turkish restaurant? You know, one of the things that I had pointed out in my answer to why is Minnesota special is that, you know, the diversity of population. For instance, you know, in Marshall, 12 to 15,000 people, whereas you go to the Twin Cities, then you're talking a few million people. And it's interesting that even in geographically separated by miles, people are still well connected. And so it's really common for our international students to have friends attending the University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities, let's say, or St. Cloud State in St. Cloud or wherever. And so those students connect. And so it's very quick that you'll find people who are either cooking food from home or restaurants that serve food from home. And so, you know, that's one of the things I find fun about it is that, you know, you can go to those places, you know, you're in the Twin Cities before long and you could have whatever food you really want to have because you can find that variety.
I also want to point out too that with our general location, we are a perfect spot, in my opinion, for international students. And I'm not saying that just because I'm the director of the Center for the International Education, but I think that if you're very serious about coming to the United States and focusing on an academic degree, this is the ideal place to be, because you will be able to have the individual attention. We have the faculty member who is very accessible to all students, and there are resources and staff members who are here just to make sure that you're doing well. There's everything that you need here in Marshall. We are a small town, but everything that you need is here. It's accessible. We have a bus metro system where you would be able to hop on for free as a SMSU student, and this bus will take you all around town so that you'll be able to have access to grocery stores, to the different shopping places for your own personal needs. So everything is available for you here. And if you ever want to go to the bigger cities to do bigger shoppings or hit some of the Turkish restaurants, you're able to do that. It's very accessible. We do have the Jefferson bus lines that come directly to our university, where you can hop on and then go to the bigger cities if you want to. And so in terms of, academic focus and care and making sure that you can succeed academically, I think this is the place to be.
There was a question about ACT and SAT scores. I did just want to let folks know that we are a test optional school, which means that we don't require an ACT or an SAT score to admit you. If you have a score, that's great. You can use it for proof of English proficiency, but you don't have to take one. So we know, especially this year with concerns about COVID-19 and testing being much harder to come by, much less accessible, just know that you do not need to take a test, either the ACT or the SAT score, to come to SMSU.
Well, as the question's slow, I would still just voice what Charlotte had already said. Go to the web pages, take a look at this, check out our page, see what's there. Marshall, Minnesota, the city, has a web page that you can investigate, and also you'll be able to see the recording shortly of this presentation. So keep looking. We feel strongly about who we are, but we want you to make the decisions that are right for you. So please take a look and see what we have to offer you.
There are some questions.
Maybe we can wait a few minutes, so there might be further questions.
Sure.
I just want to point out, somebody jumped in and said they've been to Minnesota many times, but it's a great state for Turkish students. So that there we go. Somebody in support of what we're saying, which is awesome. There was also there was a question about working part-time on campus, and that is a possibility. We do, as a university, make an effort to provide jobs on campus for students, international students who aren't eligible to work off campus. So especially in our dining services, they're always looking for students. Public safety can hire students. I know my office, the admission office, can also hire international students. So there are opportunities to work part-time on campus if that's something you're looking for. We didn't talk a lot about food on campus. Is that something, Rich and Mei Lee, that maybe we want to mention?
Sure.
So living on campus as a freshman, you are expected to have a meal plan. There are 3 options for freshmen, and all of them just vary between a combination of meals, so where you pay to go into the cafeteria and then it's buffet style, all you can eat, and then dining dollars, which are just the dollar value of the item that you're purchasing and you can spend those at our coffee shop, which is a We Proudly Brew Starbucks, our sub shop, and our convenience store. So the main cafeteria, like I said, you pay a flat price, and then you can go in and have as much food as you like. Everything is either made to order. So when you come up, you say what you want in your stir fry or in your salad or in your smoothie or whatever it is, and they prepare it in front of you, or it's made in small batches. So they might make the cheeseburgers or the fresh veggies ahead of time, but they're going to make it in a very small quantity. So they're constantly making fresh food. So when you come, it's never like the food has been sitting there for hours and hours on end. And our cafeteria staff is very kind and caring. And so they will often make you something. If there's nothing on the line that looks good to you, they'll make you something. They learn what you like and what you don't. And they're always trying to learn how to make new things and catch the students' interest. So we do themed meals. Sometimes they'll do food from a certain country or around a certain holiday. And they always welcome suggestions on making new food as well. Mm-hmm. In our coffee shop, our sub shop, and our convenience store, that's all made to order or prepackaged, and you can take away with you. And so the advantages there is it's a little quicker, and you can always take that away if you don't have as much time, or you just want to grab something like a Gatorade or a granola bar to take with you for after class. So it's just about figuring out which meal plan is going to work best for you as far as your eating habits. But plenty of options on campus for everybody.
And I think it's important to note too, what Charlotte had said is we've had students who came forward and said, your Turkish food doesn't taste like my Turkish food. and so they are open to that. If you have requests for food that needs a little bit more spice, typical Midwest, there's 2 spices, salt and pepper. I'm kidding, but if you want it spiced up more, they can do that, but they need to hear that from you, and they're always open to listening to that.
Okay, with that, maybe this will be the end of our presentation. Thank you all so much for joining today. It was really a pleasure chatting with you all, and we appreciate all the great questions that you asked. I think that contact information, particularly for the Center for International Education, has been put in the question section and in the chat section. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. We would really love to tell you more about why you should join the Mustang family.
Thank you, Charlotte, Maylee, and Richard. Also on the backstage, Michael and Jamie. Thank you very much. It was very great presentation, and Jamie and Michael were very fast for replying the questions, so you covered all of them.
All right. Thank you very much for hosting us, and we appreciate it. We'll look forward to hearing from the students.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you again. So you also post your contact information, so they will be contacting you if there are further questions. So thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.